USF is heading for a showdown this week with a judge who is pressuring the university to let a former Green Beret finish his degree. Trouble is, that Green Beret is a convicted felon who fired a gun in anger after a confrontation with a store clerk of Pakistani heritage. The soldier's struggle started years ago with a traumatic brain injury and war-related PTSD. The victim in this case tells us he also struggles with PTSD. 8 on your side's Mark Douglas is here now to sort all of this out for us, and you really have two victims here, Mark.
That's what they tell me, Keith. The clerk tells me he was in fear of his life the day that Clay Allred pulled out an AR-15 after saying, "I don't like you people," then shot his Glock pistol in the air as he sped away. Now the question at present is whether Allred deserves a chance to turn his life around by enrolling at USF.
The confrontation between two strangers, one a former Green Beret, the other a Muslim American store clerk, unfolded at this mobile station near USF last year.
I feel like it happened to me yesterday. I have nightmares from it.
Former Green Beret Clay Allred flashed an assault rifle and fired his pistol as he sped away. Deputies later found a lot of weapons in his car.
You were terrified that day.
Super terrified.
Do you think he is still a danger and would be if he were allowed to be at USF as a student?
Honestly, I totally wouldn't let my kids go to that school if I knew that he'd done such a thing, especially if my kids are Muslim as well.
Allred landed in Judge Gregory Holder's Veterans Court and ended up with treatment for his PTSD, 2 years house arrest and 3 years probation instead of what might have been 20 years in prison.
We have an obligation as a society to rehabilitate and reintegrate these men and women.
With that in mind, Holder has written USF asking administrators to let Allred complete his degree with online courses.
Mr. Allred would never have to set foot on that campus.
USF declined and offered to help Allred transfer to some other school.
The silence has been deafening.
USF tells us campus safety and security is crucial when considering any student application.
Can you guarantee that he will not harm anybody at USF?
Can I guarantee human behavior, your behavior, my behavior? Absolutely not. No human being can.
Judge Holder is asked to speak at Thursday's USF Board of Trustees meeting to make a personal appeal for Allred's enrollment. Now, a USF spokesman tells me today that board members do not make enrollment decisions. No one has ever enrolled at USF strictly as an online student, and that any convicted felon has to complete their sentence before they can apply for admission or readmission. In other words, he's not welcome.
And as for the store clerk, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, he feels lost, kind of as a victim in all of this. Like, where does he go? What does he do?
He says he has PTSD. Now, his own brother was shot and killed as a convenience store clerk not long ago, and then this happened, and he feels like nobody has reached out to him, nobody's offered him any help, and he's just been sort of shoved aside in the shadow of this Green Beret who arguably needs help in his own. But this guy says, what about me?
Yeah, maybe sharing his story here will offer him some help. Mark. Thank you, Mark Douglas.